Now that the first learners have started to return to school, it's time for us to start to put the pieces back together again. You might be wondering where to start. Well, we first need to think about where our learners have been and what they have been doing during the lockdown. How will their experiences impact on their readiness and ability to learn? Will they be motivated? As adults, our first instinct is to create structure, but we need to be careful with how we do this. Due to the abnormal situation we find ourselves in, we need to be aware that we first need to attend to learners' psychosocial needs in order to create circumstances conducive to learning. Learners may be presenting with stress-induced behavior due to the pandemic and consequent changes they have had to adapt to. You may also find learners being vulnerable due to circumstances and situations they were exposed to during lockdown. Always remember, trauma can impact school performance and impair learning. Traumatized children may experience physical and emotional distress. Also remember that you can help a child who has been traumatized. When we look at Maslow's needs hierarchy and Bloom's learning hierarchy, we need to remember that higher levels can only be reached when the lower levels have been satisfied or accomplished. In the process of learning, motivation is one of the key factors that affects learning ability. The more motivated a learner is, the higher the level of learning that is achieved. Maslow's hierarchy of human needs explains the levels of needs that every human works to satisfy. The first level in both the hierarchies represents our most basic needs. Children need full stomachs, shelter and clothing, and also to know what is taught. The second level represents the sense of security and stability. When children comprehend the information that they need to get a grasp of during the learning process, it gives them a sense of security and stability. Feelings of connection and belonging further enhance the learning process. If we want to enhance learning after the lockdown, we need to set aside designated time for sharing and provide a safe space for learners to talk about what happened. Try to incorporate the following to create this safe space and truly make it a trauma-informed classroom. Build a sense of trust. Establish predictability through daily routine, which includes the basic COVID-19 rules to protect yourself and your learners. Stay regulated and teach self-regulation in the classroom. Post-COVID-19 psychosocial services are illustrated in the following graphic and consists of the following: capacity building regarding teacher and learner mental health knowledge, wellness awareness, practices and interventions, classroom practices to make them trauma-informed and build resilience practices for emotional and sensory regulation, and individual or group psychosocial support. Psychosocial support will be provided by school social workers, psychologists, counselors, social auxiliary workers, and care and support assistants, in close collaboration with Departments of Health and Social Development and NGOs. The psychosocial support pathway should be as follows. Start each day with the learner check-in, where learners are given the opportunity to share their feelings and experiences. Pay attention to learners' physical appearance, emotional state, cooperation, and general behavior. Provide children with the opportunity to safely revisit and rework the primary subjective experiences of trauma within the sensory, not cognitive context in which they are experienced, stored, and remembered. Grief and trauma-related mental health reactions can be significantly reduced and resilience developed and/or strengthened in ways that support growth. Because trauma is experienced in the primitive brain, where there is no reason or language, children simply have no words to accurately describe or communicate what is being experienced. It is therefore necessary to help children communicate their emotions without the use of words. Create an atmosphere where you will be able to witness rather than analyze through using activities, stories, and open-ended questions that encourage discussions. Keep in mind that children always remain the experts on what is helping and what is hurting. To record information shared by learners during these check-in sessions, the following forms can be used. PSS Check-in Form A1 for younger learners and PSS Check-in Form A2 for older learners. Learners presenting with high-level needs such as child abuse, suicide ideation, depression, or anxiety need to be referred in line with the existing protocols. Regular check-ins are recommended. At the end of the first week of the learners back at school and daily check-ins, you can record your findings about their general psychosocial level of functioning on the classroom survey form, PSS Form B. Send the form to Mrs. S. Swart for information to be analysed. Delivery of support will then be planned out in line with your school's needs. Classroom-level intervention should be aimed at teaching learners skills on how to become resilient. Mental health and well-being is all about connection, choice, communication, consistency, and clarity. Teach learners mindfulness as well as trauma-informed care activities. Talk about the things they should be grateful for. Also talk about what South Africa is doing to reduce the spread of the virus, as well as the recovery rate. When teachers have concerns about a learner's physical or emotional state, and learners do not seem to benefit from support at classroom level, the PSS Form C should be completed as a referral to the school's SBST for further discussion or follow-up. Please note that a teacher need not wait until the end of week 1 before a learner is referred to the SBST for learner discussion. Where it is obvious that a learner needs immediate support, a referral to the SBST must be done right away. A joint decision to refer cases to the DBST will lead to the completion of a Google form by using the following link. Upon receipt of the referral, the DBST will make contact with you and discuss the way in which support will be provided to the learner. In these times where we quickly have to adapt to a new normal, it's easy to feel out of control. There is a Tibetan saying by the Dalai Lama that is very relevant to our current situation, which says, "Tragedy should be utilized as a source of strength. No matter what sort of difficulties, how painful experience is, if we lose our hope, that's our real disaster." And with that, the words of Roy Bennett. Never lose hope. Storms make people stronger and never last forever.